Research found is that a real smile, whether it shows teeth or not, the biggest difference is it has to reach up here.
The eyes.
The upper cheek muscles, actually. So those eye crinkles. Yeah.
I do that a lot, though. I feel like I squint a lot.
You got a little smizing, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually the only cue we're looking for. So it actually does not matter. So if you have a profile picture, a dating profile picture, a LinkedIn profile picture, I either want you neutral or with eye crinkles. The worst is sort of that in between. Now, I don't mind like a soft up mouth, right? So you and I both have this on our book covers, a soft up mouth, but it has to engage those upper cheek muscles. What Dr. Barbara Wild found is that when they showed pictures of people with the fake smile and a real smile, the real smile was contagious. So when people looked at the real smile, they themselves felt happier. When they looked at the fake smile, they felt no mood change.
Interesting.
So the reason why that's important is I think that we think about like, oh, I want to show up, I want to be really my most confident self, but what we don't realize is that our cues are contagious.
Yes.
That if you show authentic happiness, you are more likely to infect happiness. Actually, there's one more face cue I want to talk about. So this is the cue that sort of started me on this crazy journey, and it got me. I'm a recovering awkward person, as you know. So this gave me a lot of relief. Introvert, awkward person, social anxiety, all the good things. So this story gave me so much relief. What they found was, if you are in a room and someone gives you a cue of social rejection.
What does that look like?
Okay, so social rejection, eye roll, a sigh.
Looking away.
Looking away, distancing behavior. When we pull our head back and like when I angle my head back, you know I've just disengaged from you.
Crossing arms.
Sudden nonverbal rejection.
Is this turning feet also?
Yes. We can talk about feet. Yes. Okay, we can talk about feet.
Hands and feet are so... You know what's interesting? I look at the hands and feet all the time. I can't remember if I got this from you years ago.
This is
it's
me.
like looking at the hands and seeing, are they in the pocket? Are they not in the pocket?
Yes.
But go ahead before we'll get back to that.
Okay, so social rejection cues, and you know this. If you're in a business meeting and you suddenly feel like, am I disliked? He doesn't like this, she doesn't like this. When we see a cue of social rejection, our field of vision increases.
We see wider.
We literally see wider. Our pupils dilate, so we see more. The reason why that study was like a light bulb for me was our cues are affecting others' physiology. Our physiology can change in a room in an instant. If we walk into a meeting and we feel not liked, if we feel rejected, if we feel like we're being judged, our own physiology responds. So if we're in a room and we're not feeling confident or control and someone sends us a cue of rejection, one, you want to know what those are because it makes your field of vision bigger so you can see who else is sending me a cue, what's my escape route. That's literally what your body's trying to do. Yeah. Ups your adrenaline, ups your cortisol. And no one can think well. Adrenaline, cortisol. That's why in a meeting, it can go downhill so quickly. Yeah. You're in a presentation, you prepared all week.
You're like,
And then you're like, oh, he just rolled his eyes. Oh, she just turned away. Oh, I just saw a weird foot movement. And then you lose your spot, you blank out, and the rest of the presentation goes badly. The good news is what Matthew Lieberman found. This is from UCLA. Once you label a cue, so if you say, that was an eye roll, that was a scoff of exasperation, that was a contempt smirk, the moment you label it, your amygdala calms down. They've proven that when people are in fMRI machines and they show them a fearful face, so fearful face is when we widen the whites of our eyes and we raise our eyebrows up. If you're laying in an fMRI machine and you see fear, you will begin to feel afraid. Your amygdala begins to activate and your body goes, well, if he's afraid, I better be afraid. But the moment you say in the fMRI, that's just fear, your amygdala stops responding.
Interesting.
So I think I've had a really hard time finding confidence. It's been a long lifetime journey. The way that I've sort of backdoored into confidence is control. If I can control the cues that are being sent to me, if I can control the cues I'm sending to others, it's a secret backdoor into confidence.
How do you control someone else's cues?
You label them and respond appropriately. So
you can't control how they act towards you, but you can control how you react to it, how you interpret it, how you transition afterwards.
Yes, like you can, first by labeling it, you just controlled your own physiology. So if someone sends you a contempt, an eye roll, you just took control. You took control back of, nope, I see it, I spot it, I'm disengaging it.
You know, in the vulnerability world, when you label the shame, when you speak about the shame, when you bring it to the light, it becomes less scary. it doesn't stay stuck inside of you. So even just acknowledging it is a helpful tool to process shame or, I guess,
and
fear
social
of
rejection.
social rejection.
It's the same, actually. So for vulnerability, yes, you're afraid, you acknowledge it, it makes it less scary. It's the same thing in social settings. Dates, professional situations, negotiations, interviews. The moment you say, okay, I just heard an exasperated tone of voice, or I just saw a lid flex. That's the one I want to talk about next.
A what flex?
I know.
A lid flex?
A lid flex.
Is that an eyelid?
Yes,
is
it
like
is.
Like a twitch or what?
Okay. So here you asked, how do we control? Oh yeah, that's it. You just did it. Okay. So you know Zoolander?
Yes.
You know the blue steel?
Of course.
Okay, that is actually a lid flex, right? So that's a right. It's like it's if you're listening right now, harden your lower lids and then like your lips. That's what blue steel is. The funny thing about this cue, it's ridiculous. I know you're like, where are you going with this, Vanessa?
No, it makes sense to me because it's like, prove me. You're like, someone's doubting you.
Oh, you just got it. Okay.
Of course.
So what's funny is in fear, our eyes widen. So if you widen your eyes as wide as possible so you can see the whites, I can take in way more of my environment. When we're afraid, we want to see as much as possible. When we are trying to see details, universally across cultures, we have to lessen the light coming into our eyes. So we squint.
The focus.
We focus. So if you were to try to see that dot over there on the wall, you harden your lower lids. And that is because scientifically proven, when we harden our lower lids, it reduces the amount of light and we can see more details. So
Gotcha.
I can see the details on that camera better when I lower lid flex.
Squint, yeah.
This is why if you open People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, on almost every page, along with a flexed bicep, are flexed lids. And that is because women find a flexed lid, so attractive. So attractive.
So an open lid is not sexy.
No, is it sexy?
A flex lid is.
No, yes, because why? Women and men both want partners who are deeply scrutinizing, who are deeply looking at them. So if I'm sitting when talking to you and I go, oh, really? I just showed you, wow, that was super interesting. In fact, when we flex our lids, we're going from just listening to thinking deeply.
Interesting.
We're literally trying to see something better. So if you're in a negotiation or on a date or with a friend and they go, really? And they harden their lower lids, you are like, ooh, ding, ding, I just hit something good. And so the other way that we control cues is, okay, let's say that and this actually happened to me, so this is a story I share in the book. I was in a meeting with a very high-powered exec team, and if the presentation went well, they were gonna invite me back for more presentations. So the stakes were very high, and it was a small group, and I was in a particular part of my presentation talking about chemicals. And I noticed an executive across the room flex his lower lids at me, kind of flex his lower lids. He's looking at the slide and I was like, okay, what's happening? He just went from listening to scrutinizing. And so I paused with a small group and I said, all good? Any questions? And I literally looked right at him and I opened up my palms and I said, any questions? So this is the universal signal for openness. It literally means I want to receive.
I'll share anything you want.
Yes. Yeah. It's literally like, let me receive, let me be open to you. And he went, yeah. I do have a question. And at the time I was teaching about oxytocin. Oxytocin, I know you talk about it a lot on the show, the chemical of connection and bonding. He goes, I don't understand something. Isn't oxytocin what they give women to induce labor? And I'm like, you are right, sir. They do give oxytocin, and that's because it's so powerful that it can induce labor.
Interesting.
But in our position, it's for social bonding. It was such a good teaching moment because he immediately felt heard. And I know that if I hadn't addressed that concern right then and there, I would have lost him. He would have been like, what? He would have been stuck on that one slide. And afterwards, he said to me, I really feel like you were teaching to us.
Teaching to me.
Literally teaching to him. And so I think the other way that we can control the cues is we spot it and then we say, how can I honor it? Like that's the gift that we can give people is I can be sitting with someone and say, I want to listen to you so deeply. I want to listen to your words. I want to watch your facial expressions. I want to listen to your nonverbal. I want to even listen to your voice tone. I mean, we haven't even talked about vocal power, which here is incredibly important. And not only do I want to spot that, I want to respond in the way that you feel the most heard by me. So it's spotting and honoring.
And by doing that, if you're in a presentation, whether you actually acknowledge the person or not, are you just saying that it'll bring you back to a more centered place so you can continue on the presentation?
Exactly. It makes you feel in control of the narrative. Gotcha. It makes you feel in control of, and like even for introverts, right? Like introverts, it's much harder for us to share a lot of verbal content. So for us, I want to give you more control over the nonverbal so that when you do speak, it's more powerful, right? So if you're an introvert and you want to make sure you are reading the room really quickly so you know exactly when to say your point so it's most heard and most valued, That gives you confidence because you're not guessing.
Yes.
I don't like the guesswork.
No, I don't either.
I know.
You see a lot of these videos online talking about how charismatic someone is based on the way they smile, their eyes, the tilt of the chin, or all these different things. Is it important to be charismatic? Let's talk about that first.
Yes.
Is it valuable and more important to be charismatic versus less charismatic? Less
To the point.
yeah,
credible.
just to the point, or
competent.
neutral energy. I mean, what's more valuable in society in accomplishing goals and getting what you want?
Okay.
Very charismatic or neutral?
Neutral. Okay, so this is the biggest mistake I think facing really, really smart people. I think really, really smart people, and this is most of my students, they're like off the charts, smart, creative, brilliant. They make the mistake of thinking, if I have enough book smarts, if I have enough technology smarts, I don't need the people smarts. Now, here's what research from Princeton University found.
I'm so excited for this.
yeah, okay.
Because I already know what you're going to
Okay.
say in a sense, yeah.
Okay, so this study completely changed my work and changed my life. It was done by Dr. Susan Fisk in 2002, and since then they've been able to replicate it and build on it and build on it. So this is very solid research. What she found, very highly charismatic people have to have the perfect blend of two traits. And this is where it's really, this is why highly charismatic people are so unique. And this is why we love them so much. To be highly charismatic, to be compelling, to be captivating, you must have a perfect blend of warmth and competence. And we talked about this the very, very first time we met, but since then, so much more has come out about it. Very, very smart people make the mistake of showing up as all competent. They try to blow you away with their numbers and their facts and their stats and their data, but they're seen as cold.
Yeah.
They're seen as intimidating. On the other side, you have people who are highly warm. They have competence, but there's not a balance. They show up as highly likable, highly friendly, but they're interrupted. They're told that they're not being taken seriously.
They're not credible.
Right.
Yeah.
People forget having met them before. And so I think that most people problems, I'm even going to say all people problems. I mean, all people problems stem from an imbalance between your warmth and competence. And so not only do I think that charisma is essential for being successful, I actually think it's the only way that people will be open to your competence.
So you could be all the book smarts in the world. You
Yeah.
could have the highest IQ and remember everything on any test, or you could be an encyclopedia of wisdom and
Yeah.
information. But what I'm hearing you say, if you don't have charisma, at least some of it, then people won't take you seriously, or they won't care as much, or they won't be as engaged.
It's not just engaged. There's two questions that humans ask themselves about the person they're with. And this happens immediately in every interaction. By the way, video too. We forget that this is not just in person. This is happening the moment you pop on video. It's happening the moment someone opens your LinkedIn profile. I did a whole bunch of research on LinkedIn profiles specifically because that's where a lot of our first impressions
Yeah.
happen. Okay, when people see your LinkedIn profile, when people see you on video, on Zoom, the first question they ask themselves, and it is chronological, the first question they ask is, can I trust you? Basic instinct, are you going to be my ally or my enemy? Can I trust you? The very second question they ask is, can I rely on you? So when you're in a meeting, on a date, in a call, in a pitch, a negotiation, on LinkedIn, the two signals that you want to cue people with as quickly as possible is, yes, you can trust me, and yes, you can rely on me. The problem is that most professionals right now are going mute. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but it feels like in the last 5 or 10 years, we've gone towards ambivalence. You know, we've gone towards, I'm not going to show anything. I'm going to be as professional and sterile as possible. And so we've taken out cues from all these assets, and then people have a really hard time trusting us. They have a really hard time listening to us. We wonder why people are slow to reply to our emails. It's because we're not cueing enough. We have to have hundreds of cues to answer those two questions.
Interesting. So how do we create more trust and reliability instantly?
Yes. Okay. So here, let's talk about trust first, because it is chronological. We have to
Okay.
trust someone to rely on them. That's why starting with your competence doesn't always work. So trust. So the very first thing is a weird one. It's a really weird one that I'm going to talk about first.
So you don't have to be competent to be trusted.
To be charismatic, you have to be competent and trustworthy,
Okay.
right? So we want that perfect balance,
Yeah,
right? You're trying to
smart enough, and you're warm and
Yes.
likable.
Yeah, okay,
and you're-
okay. So let's look at this cover. So really, really successful book covers, just like really successful LinkedIn profile pictures, very quickly signal both trust and competence, right? They both signal both these at the same time. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, which is space zones. Okay, so sorry, I'll give it back to you. I took it away.
Space zones?
Space zone.
What is
We're going to talk about
zone?
space. We're going to talk about the distance between people. So the distance between my nose and the camera lens. You can't see it, but in this photo shoot, I made sure that the distance between my space and the camera lens was a certain space.
How far?
So I wanted to be in what's called the social zone. Okay, so this is not made up by me. This is actually, research is based. There's 4 zones for people. The intimate zone, the personal zone, the social zone, the public zone. Remember that Seinfeld episode you ever saw of close talking?
Yes.
You ever had this where someone walks up like right into your face and like
yes.
talks into your mouth?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's called close talking. And that is the first big rule.
Intimate zone.
Intimate zone.
You don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there unless you're about to get intimate.
Or unless you like you're friends or you know each other and you're like, that's what
Louis,
you do.
Do you talk 6 inches away from your friend?
Oh, that's too close. No. That's
okay.
like your girlfriend. Yeah, so you're your partner.
Right,
Got you. Okay.
Okay, so here's what happens.
This is intimate zone, 6 inches.
0 to 18 inches
yeah.
apart
Okay,
is
yeah.
intimate zone. Okay, so here's what happens. This is the biggest mistake I'm seeing right now, is we're all on video call all the time.
You're taking photos like
Yes.
this, selfie, like.
Yes.
What does that do when you're projecting a video or a photo of that close?
It is literally saying, I want to get close really, really fast. And so if you have someone who's super high warmth, they're like, yes, vulnerability, intimacy, and you're going to attract those kind of people. But if you have someone who's like, whoa, 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 take a minute, they are turned off. So what's happening is on video calls, you hop on FaceTime, you hop on video or on Zoom, and people are like right up in their camera.
Yeah.
Right, their nose and their camera are 10 inches apart, and so someone's like, whoa.
It's too close. Yeah.
It's too close.
Okay.
So that's the first one, is you want to respect the space zones. The sweet spot is 1.5 feet to 3 or 4 feet away. That's that social zone. That's where we're making eye contact. If I wanted to reach out and high five you, I could. We're still respecting each other's space. So for those, one is when you're on video, in your photos, that if you want to have that balance, you want to be 18 inches to about 3 or 4 feet away.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Social zone is 18 to 3 feet.
Yeah. And the personal zone, by the way, is still good, but that's a little bit farther away, right? So that's, you're just starting to get to know each other. When you see someone across the room or a boardroom or a networking event, they're usually about 4 to 7 feet away, which is the next zone, which is the personal zone.
Okay.
And then you have the public zone, which is obviously from far away. What we like in human behavior is we like someone to come towards us slowly. That's one of the reasons I think we're so burnt out on video. You know, we have these back-to-back video calls and we wonder, why are we so tired? I'm not even in person. The reason is because it's cueing us in ways that are not natural. In person, I walk into a room, right? Like I walked into the office today and you were waiting. I was like, hi, and then we hugged. That was that's the way humans like, right? It's like this from public.
So it's not like you open the door and I'm right there standing in your face.
That would have been a lot.
I was a few feet
You were a
back.
few
You're
feet
like,
back. It was perfect, right? So like that's natural. But on video, it's like, whoop, we're here. And that's why we can get so fatigued, is because the cues are unnatural, which actually leads me to the second kind of trust cue that's important.
Yes.
Is when we can't see someone's hands, our brain has a really hard time trusting someone.
It's so funny. I think ever since that interview, I'm always keeping my hands out.
Yeah.
I don't think I was keeping my hands in before, but I think I'm just more aware of it when I'm walking by someone who might be a stranger. I just have my hands out and relaxed and loose, but I'm not like tight or tense, and I'm not like hiding them or anything. It's just walking normal and say, hey, how's it going? I'll even do like a little wave, just to show.
That's super
Say,
charismatic.
hey, good to see you.
That's it. So I love Shark Tank. Do you know that show? Okay, I know you had
I love
guests.
it. Friday nights.
Oh,
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. So I wanted to know, watching Shark Tank, was there patterns between the least successful pitches
Interesting.
and the most successful pitches?
This is cool.
Okay, so my team, I love my team. Thank you to my team.
Not on just based on like what people said, but how they said
Everything.
things. That's cool.
Everything. So we analyzed 495 Shark
Come
Tank
on.
pitches. Yeah.
What were the main things you saw from those successful and those not?
Okay, so thank you to Jose Pina for this research. So 495 Shark Tank pitches, literally hundreds of hours of Shark Tank, coding every variable we could think of. Entrance, first impression, verbal, eye contact, smiling, interactivity, math deal. I mean, we were looking at everything.
Holy cow.
Okay. One of the biggest differences between the least successful pitches and the most successful pitches was what you just did.
Hands.
Right. So when you walk down that Shark Tank hallway, that is beautiful, right? That's exactly what we're talking about, space, right? Public to personal to social to intimate. So it's a nice warm up. The best pitchers, when they were all the way in the public zone, signaled, hey, sharks.
No way.
And they'd walk into the room, they'd take their place on the carpet, and they'd go, good morning, sharks. Or, hey, Kevin. Mark, we'd love to have a deal with you. They would greet with some kind of hand gesture. The least successful pitchers walked in with, I think, They thought they were being humble, but it actually reduced trust. They hid their hands either in fists, behind their backs, in their pockets, or holding a prop. Sometimes accidentally they hid their hands, and they didn't hand greet. That makes it really hard for someone to say, I can trust you. And that is a primitive part of our brain that when we can't see someone's hands, like if I were to, do this entire interview with my hands behind my back.
Like, what's she doing back there?
What's she doing?
Yeah.
What are her hands doing? And what's interesting is Susan Goldwyn Meadow researches gesture. She spent her entire academic career researching gesture. And she found that gestures carry more weight than words. So if a pitcher, a Shark Tank pitcher, were to go on and say, today I have a really big idea. It's really big. And I hold my hands up like it's really big. It's really small. You're like, no way, it looks small, Vanessa. It looks so small. It's not big at all. But if I were to say I have three big ideas and hold up 5, you're actually more likely to believe my fingers. So the reason why this is important is because gestures help lower cognitive load.
Interesting.
When I use gesture, I'm more fluent. I'm able to be more competent. I'm able to underline my words. I'm able to say, this is a really important point. Can I give it to you?
Hand gestures, body gestures, facial gestures, hair gestures.
Hand gestures. Hand gestures specifically.
Are key.
They are like our body language highlighter. That's how I want you to think about them.
What happens if we don't? I'm just kind of socially awkward. I like keeping my hands down the whole time when I'm communicating. What happens if we don't use our hand gestures at all in a conversation, in a pitch, whatever?
2 things. One is it's harder for you to process. They've literally found
the person speaking, it's harder to process.
It's going to be harder for you to get your confidence because gestures are a way that we underline or highlight our words. And so if you are inhibiting your own gestures, you will have a hard time explaining things.
Interesting.
They actually did a study where they had people explain 2 versions of a story. Notice two versions of the story. One, they could use their hands and one they couldn't. The one where they could use their hands, they had less pauses, they spoke more quickly, they used bigger words.
Wow.
And the one where they just couldn't, their hands were just underneath their legs.